Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Bj Arnett, and this is This Day with Bj Arnett. My guest is a beautiful lady who has lots to tell you about her journey and her life story. And you know, it's by the words of our testimony. Those testimonies can be transformative in your life. You've got to be willing to listen. My guest is Micshell White. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I said to you before cameras rolled, I feel like I've met you before, I know you, but you spoke to my husband, so I guess I do know you.
Yes, you do. You are one, so yes, you did.
Yes, we are one.
Yes.
So talk to us about the journey to develop this book and how you penned volume 1, which tells you there's a volume 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming at you.
There are more to come. Well, I started writing to clear my mind. I had questions about some things. I have some gifts, and I was like, am I dreaming these things? Are these visions for other people? Did these things really happen, or are they things that are going to happen? And I had gone through some valleys and some mountaintop experiences. So in an effort to clear my mind, body, and help heal my mind, body, and spirit, I began journaling. And the journaling turned into projects like, oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And it came so easily to me that I was, again, I'm like, Lord, did I dream these things? Are these things deep-seated? Are these visions that you have for me to give someone else? Because as a child, I realized I had a gift that was sometimes a burden. They called it seers, where I come from. And later in life, after going through what man would require to be documented, they called me prophetess. And I'm like, well, I don't need a title. I know what God said, and I know who I am, so I'm fine. But those journals, I took them and I put them together in a collective, and I'm like, Lord, if I'm to share this, I'm going to need a title. And what would the title be? And when I have questions, when I need a new song, when I want to find comfort, my go-to is the Word. That's the light unto my feet, the pathway. So I'm like, my book of choice is the Psalms of God. It shows you people, ordinary people doing extraordinary things and how they worship God through it all. Even when it didn't come out like they thought it should, they still praised him for who he was and what he had done. So I'm like, he is faithful. He's been faithful. So these are the Psalms of my heart, the highs, the lows, what he has done to put me back together. Restoration is for real.
Yes, it is.
I am a walking testimony.
You know, it's something to be said for, we, as the body of Christ grows and learns how to communicate, if we would just take a look at the beautiful words in Psalms, we'd be able to tell a story without having to create a story. The story is already there. And those stories, those Psalms are there to set someone free from a bondage that they really can't even identify what it is.
Exactly.
And these are just good stories of real people triumphantly moving through life right to the grace of God. Talk to us about what it means to be able to take it from that lofty thought of these are biblical terms and biblical words to this, what I consider groundbreaking conversation that God wrote through a man in order to put it on these pages of a book.
Amen. So what God told me was, he's like, keep it simple.
Yes.
I'm a military woman. I'm an old soldier. So we always said, keep it simple. If you keep it to the lowest person's knowledge, their ability to receive, then the one that's lofty can also understand it, unless they position themselves not to receive. So I took what he gave me and used myself and opened myself up and showed my scars. He said, I showed you my scars in my hand. My son showed you the scars in his hand. Show them your scars and encourage my people, and at the same time empower them. So I took what I had and made it real simple and just said, if I give you the Psalms of my heart and I tell you what I felt in this situation, and I'm brutally honest about it, because if you're going to tell it all. Straight, no chaser.
You got to tell it.
If you give it to them straight, no chaser, unwatered down, just like the word unwatered down, they will receive. And I did that just to test it. I gave it to a specific group of women, and the demographic was varied. And when I have someone my age get something, I'm like, great. But when I had a mother that was 70 years old said, how can you pen this? And it's me talking. Then I knew then that I had done just what God had required of me, because I was hesitant for years. I held on this. I held up the kingdom, if you would.
Yes, yes, yes.
For quite some years, because I was afraid to take my mask off and let them see who I was, the scars. And then I say, if I share what he did in me, through me, if he can do it for little old me, surely he can do it for you.
That's right.
And that's what I just said. I surrender, Lord. I will truly, truly praise you, because through nature, he speaks to me.
Yes.
Since a child. So I tried to keep everything connected to the Spirit.
Yes.
So if we can stay connected to the Spirit, we will be okay.
There's the simplicity of what you're saying. If we can just stay connected to the Spirit, we'll be okay. We're in a time in this nation and in this world that people push away all things of God. People have pushed away so much to the point of there's no prayer in school, there's no going to one knee in honor, there is no way to successfully, though it would seem, to really be an example without someone else saying, you're pressing into my corner. But what is really happening is that the Christian is being pressed into a corner that is saying, don't speak, don't talk, don't move, don't. But then God gives you the ability to speak those things that are on your heart, to speak those things that were hard for you, to speak those things that were difficult for you.
Yes.
Talk to about, because those are all testimonies.
Yes.
What we see in the Bible is one testimony, but what you lived through is another testimony. Give us that.
And one of the things I shared is, I use Facebook quite faithfully, and one of the things I shared was, yes, we have the testimonies, we have the minor and the major prophets, but every day is a new testimony.
Yes, it
Every
is.
day is a new book. Every day is a new prayer. So I didn't want another book that was simply copying the scriptures, expounding on them, and giving you a page to take some notes, and
Yes,
somebody declaring and proclaiming and spitting. I didn't want that. So what I did was, I said, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to tell my truth.
Right.
I'm going to tell my truth, even if it hurts. And I did that. And I was hesitant. Again, I say I was hesitant. And I presented it to my family. One sister's like, girl, I didn't know you had enough sense to write nothing like that. And then she's like, I apologize. I didn't know you felt this way. Another sister, not natural, but blood from the blood of the Lord, she's like, that's my sister. Oh, I got to call her. She needs to read this. And they reconciled since then. So I'm like, bless the Lord. That moved me. I'm like, I was holding up the kingdom. But what I did was I put it in storybook form. And you know, you can't keep people's attention too long.
Right.
And I didn't want to just copy paste from the Bible and put something and say, this is mine. So I gave them me, unwatered down, but I put it in stories. I made it in journalism, broadcasting, minor in accountancy, switched it up. But I said, let me write. I always wanted to write. And he gave me that gift. I have vision. I have imagery in me. So I wrote, and I used the things that he gave me. I love the Redbirds. I love jam. And they're like, I said, oh, keep it sweet. We're going to put it all in there.
Yes.
And when I did that, you don't know which way it's going to go. And then they are connected. And if you read this, you have to go back and read something. I read this, wait a minute. Flip back to, oh, that's what that means. So I keep them engaged, where you can't just read straight through and say, okay, I got it. No. You have to go back, read and reread, because that's what I did. I wrote and rewrote, read and reread what I wrote, and in that I began to heal. And it identified some things, shined a light on some things that I was unaware of. And sometimes we carry weights that we don't even know we have.
Yes.
And I was in this thing, and I'm like, what is that I'm feeling, Lord? And so you lay out naked before him, and I realized I was carrying some things deep-seated and had buried them so well that I didn't even know they were there.
Wow.
And when he aligned me with some good folk that didn't want to spoon feed me the Bible, didn't want to water it down, didn't want to cover it up, they just gave, there it is. That's the word. And when I did my self-justice and allowed him to come in and do the pruning and to rearrange the furniture, when he did that, I'm like, I didn't know I was carrying that. And once he said, give it to me, and I let him have all of it,
Everything
I can sit here and say, I'm free today.
Yes.
There's no bondage. And even now, he made me some promises last year. I went through some things. We all go through some stuff.
Yes.
And when I went through it, I was holding on. And he came back and brought back to my remembrance. Remember when I made you these promises? Let's check. That's why I am yours. I am. I'm redeemed. I'm free. I'm yours. He said, you know who you are, right? So I said, yeah, okay. He checked that. I said, yeah, I did that. Check that. Yeah, I did it. So when the more he confirmed and reaffirmed, I was in the floor. And I was like, well, bless the Lord. I have no choice but to do what you said.
Yes.
And he has truly blown my mind. And even being here with you this day is one of the things that he promised me. I don't know you, but he promised me this a year ago. And he is a keeper of his word.
Yes, he is.
So again, who he is and trusting what he has told me that's for my life, I have no choice but to walk in the full authority of who I am.
In that, this book is volume 1,
Yes.
Psalms of My Heart. It is very personal to this ministry, to what God called for you to unveil so that someone else might use this as a transformative moment for themselves. But volume 1, has volume 2 already started?
Oh, yes, it's finished.
So you're good to go.
Yes.
You're good to go. As you see everything that you ask God for, that you said in your secret time, in your secret place with the Lord, happening and unveiling, what would you say to someone who says, I feel like I'm at a standstill, I'm at a stall, it's not moving, I don't see anything? What would you say to that person that needs that? Some people would call it encouragement. I call it just a good old-fashioned kick in the pants.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Because I needed a kick in the pants.
Yeah, it works.
So the thing is, be steadfast. It's not your time yet. Stay before him. Continue to stay in humility. Don't ask him to humble you, because he will.
Yes,
ask him to
indeed.
help you humble yourself.
Yes,
because if you ask him to humble you, he will indeed do that. And you will. I got some marks I can show you. Yes, but he is faithful, he is true, and what is for you shall be for you. There is not one demon, imp on earth or in hell that can stop what God has declared for your life.
That is
Hang
so
on in
true.
there.
That's it.
It's
That's
going to be
it.
all right.
It's going to be all right. And hearing someone else's testimony, I think, gives you strength.
Yes.
You know, I think it is there for the purpose of making you see that you're not the only one in this area of battle. You're not the only one that this is happening.
There's nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new under the sun, and every answer is in his book,
Yes,
in his word.
and we win. It's in the book.
It's in the book.
Flip, flip. There it is.
There
We
it
won.
is. And everything that's happening today, people are like, oh, I'm so afraid of the things that are happening right now. There isn't a time to be afraid. This is not a time to be afraid. This is a time to stand on his word and say, I see
Yes.
it. I'm going to flip the page, as you
That's
said,
it.
and I'm going to see the next.
God can't use a coward soldier. In
No.
the natural and the spiritual, nowhere. So if you're going to be bold for him, be bold for him. Stand in and on what he said. Walk in purpose, on purpose every day, because he said it, it is so. And he cannot lie.
And he cannot lie. And, you know, I love to say this to women especially. He is a gentleman.
Yes.
He is a gentleman. He is a man of his word. He is the God that does not change. And his word does not return void. So if you keep the first things first,
Yes.
that it is his way, not our way. That
His
is
way, his will, his way. That's it.
And we're done.
We're finished.
We're good. You can look, you can write a book on it. That's what I see right
You
here.
think we did? We wrote a book on it.
We wrote a book on it.
Yes.
Psalms of My Heart, Minister Micshell R. White.
Yes.
It's such a pleasure to sit with you, to talk with you, but it is your enthusiasm for the Lord that is such a pleasure to be around. Because sometimes, even though we are giving testimony, we love to give the by and by Lord testimony. And our Lord God is so explosive. He's so awesome. He's so encouraging. He's so on point. He does not allow anything to happen without his knowledge. So I thank you for writing this volume 1. We look with bated breath for volume 2.
Oh, wait on it.
How can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook. I am Micshell White at True Worshipper. If you are just Micshell White on Facebook, and it'll take you to where you can purchase that gem of a book.
Micshell White, definitely a true worshiper.
I am.
Definitely completed volume 1 and also volume 2.
Yes.
So if you want to get in touch with her, go to Micshell White, and that's how I saw you. It was on Facebook, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
Yep, I sure did.
Did you see me dance?
I didn't see you down.
Oh,
I gotta
you
go
missed
back.
out.
Okay, I got to go back,
You
y'all,
missed
and find out what Micshell was doing. Because you know it's called Dancing for the Lord.
Yeah, just for the Lord.
Thank you so much for being with me
Thank
today.
you for having me.
And
Truly a
thank
pleasure.
you for being right here on BJ.